guys, welcome back to my channel. As you may have seen in the title and in the introduction, this is going to be a Beyoncé inspired makeup look. This is the look that she did in the Hymm for the Weekend video clip, and I was obsessed with that look, so I knew I had to do a inspired look on it. So hence why you're watching this video. As you may have seen in the beginning, I did just apply Peach Smoothie as my transition shade, and I am now going in with Desert Sands by Makeup Geek, just applying that over to make the transition, oh my god, I can't speak, the crease a little bit more yellow toned, and that is, I love that shade, Desert Sands. And now I am taking Dirty Martini and just applying that right in my crease with my Sigma E25 and just blending that out. Doesn't matter what happens on the lid, as long as the crease and everything above that is like blended out. Don't worry if you get a little bit messy on the lid, because you will be going in with a metallic shade after that. So as you may see, I'm going in with colour and then blending it out with my Sigma E40. That's just how I like to do things when I'm working on a bit of a darker look, is add a little bit of colour and then blend it out and then add a bit more. Then I took Typhoon by Makeup Geek, which is one of their duochrome shadows, and I'm just applying that on my lid with this MAC 242, which is my favourite brush to apply like creamy, more wet shadows. It just works best in my opinion. And then I'm going in and blending that out with my Sigma E25. I will be applying another two shadows, so this was pretty much more acting as more of a base than a shadow. I applied it, but then I thought it was a little bit too teal, and I wanted teal on my lower lash line, but not too much teal going on my lid, so that's why I am blending that out. And then I go in with Jester by Makeup Geek, which was the perfect shade. In the video clip, her lid isn't actually that green. It is more of a goldy type of green, and it is pretty buffed out. It's not so metallic, but I wanted to make my look a little bit more metallic and a little bit more green. So I pretty much used her as inspiration and kind of made the look a little bit more dramatic, but stay true to what the look pretty much was. So I'm just buffing out those colors again, and then I will be going in with Hammered by Makeup Geek, Hammered by Colourpop, just to make the look a little bit more gold and not so green, just to cover up a bit of that teal. Sorry, not green, teal, to cover up that teal. Yeah, so we're just going to watch me do that. I really wanted to make this look a talk through like tutorial, but there was too much noise going on the outside, so I had to do a voiceover for this tutorial, but it would have been better if I could talk you guys through it, but you know, we're dealing with it and we're rolling with it. I did take Dirty Martini and apply it just over that lid to make it not as metallic, because in person it was extremely metallic. So I was just trying to tone it down a little bit just to make it a little bit more like hers was. Then taking this shade, I think it's Karma by Makeup Geek, I will list it down below, just to give it a little bit of a pop in the center. So it wasn't so metallic, but it was still, it had that little bit of an oomph, if you know what I mean. Then I took a little bit more of Desert Sands. As you can see, I overlaid it on my brush because this shadow is so pigmented. And I just wanted to make it a little bit more browny, yellowy on the outer corners of my eye. So I'm just taking that and blending that in with the green shades. I did go in with a makeup wipe and just clean up the outer edges of the eye. I did that off camera, and then just went in and touched up the eyelids. Tidying up the outer corners of the eye just made it look a little bit more sharp, and I just preferred doing that. I have already applied lashes. I used the Velour Whispie Sweet Nothings. The look, her lashes in the look weren't too dramatic, and these lashes I thought were perfect. They're very wispy, and you can still see the eye makeup through the lashes, which is what you want. I did take a little bit of the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer and just applied that over my pores. And then I took the Nivea primer, and it's not really a primer, but you know, we all use it as a primer, and applied that to the rest of my face. I did apply foundation. I just didn't add that into the video because you've seen me do that 50,000 times. And I'm just going in now with my Urban Decay Weightless Concealer and applying that right underneath my eyes. I did go in and apply some right near my nose just because I get red there. And then I will be setting that with the Mercier translucent powder just to bake that a little bit. Blending out my concealer with a beauty blender would have to be one of my favorite parts when I do my makeup. It's just so therapeutic and it just feels so nice when you take that wet beauty blender and blend it out. Don't ask me. No, I'm weird, but I love it. Then I'm taking my other beauty blender, which is for like when I use my powders to bake, and just applying that translucent powder and a lot of it underneath my eye. My beauty blender was really damp, so it kind of absorbed most of the powder instead of going on my eye, but that's why I went in and added a few more layers. What baking does is it pretty much just locks in your makeup, so that's why when you bake underneath your eyes, you're just doing it so it prevents it from creasing rather than just going in and applying, you know, your usual setting powder underneath your eyes. It's more or less for when you want your makeup to last longer, if you have an event, or if you know it's like a hot day, just anything when you need your makeup to last longer. And you know, we always want our makeup to last longer. I just went in and set the rest of my face with that same powder, and then taking this LA Girl concealer in the shade Beautiful Bronze, I'm pretty sure, I will list it down below in my description box, and applying that just on the sides of my nose. A lot of product came out of that little tube and I did not know what to do with it. So I took a little bit of my Urban Decay concealer just to make it will tone down, because I was like, this is going to look like a hot muddy orange mess on my nose, but this worked perfectly. Using the beauty blender to blend it out as well just made it look all the more natural. So it's kind of like a blessing that I switched over to the beauty blender, because it just sucked up all of that product and it looked better. I did go in and just blend a little bit more of that out with my finger, because it was closer to my eye, and the beauty blender, I just didn't want to ruin my makeup. Still, there was a lot of it, so I just went in and applied more concealer until that looked as natural as it possibly could, because I didn't want to look like I contoured my nose. Contouring your nose is usually much simpler than this, but I went in with a lot of product by accident, so I had to go in and fix it up. You may see throughout the video that it looks like I haven't blended out some on the side of my nose, but I do notice it halfway through. I do notice it just before the end, and I do go in and fix that up. Just a disclaimer when you're watching the video, because when I was editing, it was annoying the hell out of me, and I'm like, do I fix it? Do I fix it? I went in and fixed it, so it's all good. To contour, I am taking these two shades from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette with my brush that comes with the Hoola bronzer. I love this brush to contour. I feel like it's kind of like the Eater brush. Not that I have the Eater brush, but I'm not going to pay like 60 or 80, however much it is, which I know it's ridiculous. I don't even know how much it is. That's how ridiculous it is. I'm not going to pay that for a brush unless someone like hands it to me on like a platter and they're like, yeah, have it for free. And I'm like, okay. But this brush does the job, I find, but that's probably because I haven't had the other brush, so I can't compare. But I am going in and contouring just underneath my cheekbones and my jawline to make it look more slimmer, because Queen Bee is queen and I feel like she is perfection. So I tried to like be like her, but I'm not. So, you know, we're working with what we've got. Then I took some more of that bronzer on this Morphe M404 Duo Fiber just to bronze up a little bit more. And yeah, that's when I noticed the excess bronze concealer and covered that up with a little bit of yellow powder, and it is gone now. So yeah, just continue bronzing just to carve out my face a lot. I forgot how amazing this bronzer was. I just recently got, not recently now, but I did start using the Makeup Forever bronzer, the Pro Fusion bronzer, and I started using that a lot, but then completely forgot how amazing this one was. This one and the Makeup Forever bronzers are perfection, and if you don't have one or the other, I highly recommend it. But the Hoola bronzer is just a staple because it's just the perfect color. You can contour with it, you can bronze with it. It's just, I'm going to say it's on my all-time favorite bronzer that I have ever used, and then my Makeup Forever. I feel like I got it and I was so overhyped by it, but it is amazing. I just forgot how amazing this one was because the color is perfect. I am taking a little bit of blush, as you can see, from the Morphe 9B blush palette, and just applying that onto my cheeks. Not too much onto the apples of my cheeks because I do have pretty like nice and juicy, like, oh god, I ruined that. But I have like chubby cheeks, so I didn't want to make them like too appley. See, I can't speak today. It is what it is. I said juicy apples, didn't I? Anyway, moving on. I did just apply a little bit of lip balm because I am going to go in with a liquid lipstick, so I just wanted to make them a little bit more soft. Then taking the highlighter, this is Opal. I'm using Opal by Becca and using my Morphe M501, which is my favorite highlighting brush, just to apply that onto the tops of my cheekbones. I love highlighting. It just ties everything together and you just feel like a goddess when you highlight. You're like, look at me glow, look at me glow. And then I'm taking a bit more of that Laura Mercier powder and just applying that right under to clean up the contour to make it really structured. For the lower lash line, I am taking the Colourpop liner in the shade Fast Lane. It is just a really pretty dark teal color, and I'm just applying that on my lower lash line and in my waterline. Then to start smoking out that lower lash line, I take Secret Garden by Makeup Geek, which is another one of their duochrome shadows, with this Sigma pencil brush, and to just begin to slowly buff out that lower lash line, because Beyonce's eyes in the video clip, the lower lash line was really smoked out and super teal, and that was one of my favorite things about the look. Then moving on to lips, she had a really nice brown colour on her lips. So to kind of mimic that colour, I am taking Cork from Dose of Colours. I love this shade. Don't ask me why. It is a very different shade. It's a very warm orangey brown, and I am using that as my base. Now, coming to think of it, I should have done it the other way around and applied Chocolate Wasted, which is the colour you see me applying now, just onto the outer corners of my lips, just to darken up the colour, because Cork was a little bit too light in comparison to what she had, but it still worked out. It just probably would have been a little bit more easy if I did it the other way around and applied Chocolate Wasted first and then applied Cork instead of going in, as you can see, and blending out that shade. But it still worked. I liked how it turned out, but if you were going to recreate it, do it the other way, because that's how I would do it now, looking back. And then this is how the final look turned out. I love the combination of the brown lip with the green eye. It's definitely one of my favorite looks that I've done on my channel so far. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this look. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.